Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to another edition of Mr. Parker's Neighborhood. I'm Mr. Parker, and I'm here today with a guest. Ah, man, it's going to mess you up when you find out what my guest does and who he is. So let's go ahead and play the game. First of all, welcome, Mr. Johnson. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. Welcome. I'm glad to be here at the Parker Neighborhood, baby. Yes, sir.
We're about to have a ball. So like I say, I do a game with the guests, with the viewers, and let them try to guess what it is my guest does. So we're going to say it right now. The name is Tierno Johnson. Is he A, an actor, B, a coach, C, a retired track star, D, a mogul in the entertainment business, or E, none of the above? Y'all might get this one right. All right, it's done. Okay, here we go. Mr. Tierno Johnson, what is it that you do?
Well, I guess it's a lot of things on there. I am a coach, so I coach football back here in state of Maryland. So one of the high schools, I do coach football. Let's see, what were some of the other choices? Track star, did run a little track, but I don't know if I'll be considered a star. Let's see, what were some of the other choices you had on there? Entertainment mogul. I guess you can call me an entertainment mogul because I write erotic books. My books are being turned into movies, and I will probably pick that one more than anything else.
Okay. All right. So now we've cleared that part of it, and we found out that Mr. Tierno Johnson is, we'll go ahead and let's get out there, author and writer of movies and books. Now we're gonna go ahead and put it out there. So okay. That's what he does. Now we've done the formalities of correct interviewing, and now we're going family. What's up, my brother T? What's going on, baby?
So mob to the mo mob. What's happening? Cease. What's happening, baby?
Oh man, you got the best go, boy. I'm telling you.
Hey.
Like I said, y'all, when we get into this thing, you're gonna say, really? When he already set it up for you, but it's gonna mess you up when you see. We're gonna do the traveling piece. So, brother T, tell them where you're from, man, and what your background is a little bit.
All right. So I'm a born Washingtonian, Washington, D.C. Used to be known as Chocolate City. It's done had a little change over the time. So grew up in D.C., went to public schools all my life. Came out to Missouri, attended Missouri Valley, where I pledged Rho Delta, Phi Beta Sigmas from hell, baby. Yes, indeed. I graduated there with a degree in psychology, a degree in sociology, and a minor in alcohol and drug studies. Came home, started teaching in the public school system.
Hold up, stop that. Let's go back to the college piece. What you say your degrees in what?
So I have a bachelor's degree in psychology.
Okay, I can go.
Sociology.
Okay.
And a minor in alcohol and drug studies.
Alcohol and drug studies.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I had to stop on that one because knowing the background and the travels of you pledging Phi Beta Sigma, that last one, yeah, you can write another book on that from your college adventures.
That was research for me to get my degree, baby. You understand how that works. I had to indulge in the alcohol and drug studies part of the research in order to be able to turn in artifacts that was accurate. You know what I'm saying? Gotta go there.
You had the right kid. I just wanted to make sure that I caught that. Like I said, that's the first time I heard that from myself. Like, you got a what?
Yeah.
Oh
yes,
man,
sir.
see. And I mean, going back, let's go back some more back to DC growing up. Did you play sports in DC?
I did. So I was a two sports figure in DC, pretty well known, played quarterback, defensive back in high school all the way through, point guard for the basketball team. Like I tried my hand at track because I was pretty fast, but there was just something about running around in a circle that got real boring for me. So I had to let that one go. So I stayed a two-sport graduate, yeah.
And that's how you ended up getting the Mo Valley?
Scholarship to Mo Valley, come out there and play football. So went out there, played 4 years with Mo Valley, All-American, same thing in DC, was always one of top recruits. We have honorable mention, all metropolitan areas and all that type of stuff. So I always made that football and basketball. So I was a standout athlete back in the day. Yeah.
So okay, now see that. I mean, actually, it's all coming. Like I said, for me, the history I know of is coming together now, knowing that back then you was an athlete, and so you talking to Gift the Gab, man, that's just a natural piece for you, huh? That's just something.
No doubt. No doubt at all, baby. Been talking trash my whole life. When you grow up like I grew up, you know what I'm saying? Folks picked on you a lot. I had curly hair when the Soul Glow was out, so everybody had jokes. You know, everybody thought I had a wet thing, you know what I'm saying? So I had to stay in there and fight my way out with the word of gab and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I got quick with the words, real quick.
Yeah. Okay, so now as far as your parents go, being a role model as far as dealing with the academic, again, you can't get back when we was coming through, you couldn't just get a scholarship on your performance on the field. You had to have some academic hookup as well.
Oh yeah, mom's was an academia. She also was a public school teacher for over 40 years in our school system. So she was one of the ones that helped push me into that when I came back home, my psychology degree. You know, I started off doing giving back by working in little treatment centers, things like that. But she was like, you just a born teacher. You need to be doing what you're doing for the next generation. So she pushed me a little bit towards going into the public school teaching aspects of my life. And it just worked out for me. So I come from a family of a lot of teachers and all that. So I graduated in the top 5% of my class. Same thing with college. I was still in the top 10% of graduates in my degree area. So, you know, I've always found academia easy, but at the same time, knowing the importance of it from growing up. Yeah.
So you one of them cats. Like I had a father named Will B. Will B would mess around, and on Monday, Will B getting a fight at school, get suspended for 4 days, come back on time for the test on Friday, bust an A, and then get suspended again because it's like, school part boring. I can read at home.
Yeah, I wasn't the fighter part, but my thing was I finish all my work early and mess with everybody so they can't get their work done. And by the time the teacher roll around and be like, all right, turn your stuff in, I got my stuff right on the desk, and everybody else looking around like, how he do that and mess us up? I didn't get my work done messing with him. Yeah, so I was that type of dude, not the suspension guy, because I would have got killed coming home being suspended. Yeah, nah, we weren't playing that.
See, and again, like you just said, and I mean, it builds on you being who you are when I met you in college, because again, you just said it, you got your stuff out the way and didn't bother everybody else.
That's right. I do that same to today. I do that now. Yes, sir. Do that now.
So how did you end up picking Mo Valley as far as going to school?
So I had a few Division I offers, but she didn't agree with how they came at me. Everything was sports. I had to wake up sports, eat sports, go to sleep sports. And she didn't want me to go to a factory school and be just another one of these dudes on the assembly line. And then their graduation rates wasn't that way. And by the time it got around to us figuring out where I should go, a lot of the other schools have already gave their scholarships out. So I wasn't about to pay because I knew I was good enough to play football for somebody. So I wasn't going to pay for it. And then one of the guys I went to school with was like, yeah, I'm getting ready to go to a small school, change the game up. You know what I'm saying? Make a name for myself somewhere, go in right there way and start playing. So I was like, well, shoot, let me get the information. Let me send them a tape. So I sent a tape out there, and immediately they sent back saying, okay, here's your scholarship if you want to come. And boom, I was on the next plane out that thing.
Now leaving DC, going to Mo Valley, what was the adjustment that you had to make?
Yeah, it wasn't as hard as you think, because in DC, you know, we have pockets that were still, even though we were heavy in African Americans and most of our what we call the 4 quadrants of DC, I still went to school. Mom sent me all the way. I had to ride the bus all the way up to my school that was in the top part of the city, Woodrow Wilson. And it was diverse because it was one of those schools where all the senators and all the different politicians wanted to send their child to a school to say, oh yeah, my child goes to a public school as well. So it was a real diverse school. So we had a lot of different nationalities there. So going out there fitting in that way wasn't hard. It was just how slow everything was. Because, you know, we never closed. Our bars, our clubs, our stores, we was already 24-hour everything. And then coming out there, McDonald's closed at 7 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Only thing open is a mom and pop little grocery store. You know what I'm saying? So the slow life took a little minute to get used to, but that's probably why I stayed on a road trip. You know, I was always gone somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, you was always gone.
No doubt about that, baby. Road trip. Yes, indeed.
So okay, so as far as choosing your major, how did you choose those two as your major for your degree study? What psychology? I mean, it's just a study of, because you do that. You study people's minds and actions, and then you delve in on them and find a way to make a joke out of it. That's what you do, man. You do that.
You know, to be frankly honest with you, I came in as I wanted to be an electrical engineer. So I came in trying to go in the pathway of engineering. And I was in a calculus 4, and I had an anxiety attack. I had an overwhelming, just every formula I ever learned in my life just rushed me on this test. I couldn't breathe. My chest was pounding and everything. And then I realized, you know what? I don't know if I can finish this math thing out. And so that changed from BS, and that put me on a BA path where I didn't need as many maths or science. Right. So once I went to the BA form, I realized, you know, oh, I can go ahead and get a background in psychology, because psychology can lead to all these other fields. Because I still wasn't sure. Engineering just wasn't going to be my path anymore, but I wasn't sure where I wanted to go. But I knew if I had something like psychology, I could still use that degree to go in another direction once I figured my life out. So that's pretty much how I fell back onto psychology, because I used it as a platform that I could spring into something else once I really got to know who I was and what I wanted to do. And that's pretty much my only issue. And then because I was taking all those courses, they was like, well, shoot, you right on pace for sociology. You might just come out with a double degree. And shoot, most of these classes fall under alcohol and drug studies. You just got to take a few electives. We could get you a major in that if you want to do some extra classes, but I was like, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
See, and I mean, man, again, I want to applaud you right now, because again, I'm learning about the scholar T. I'm learning about the scholar T, Mr. I am a scholar, and I can and do think besides cracking on you. I got some stuff for you.
Oh, no doubt. I no doubt. Yeah, it's different shades. We got to maneuver ourselves in different ways around different individuals. And to most individuals, I'm that asshole. Like, oh my God, here he come again. But when I have to switch it, baby, when I switch it, man, I can switch it and I can roll with the best of them in any one of the different platforms, baby. So don't get it wrong.
Yeah, like I said, I'm coming to that one too, because again, I mean, like I said, you are one of those, and it's funny because we talked about that when we went to Atlanta. You are one of the cats whose name came to a campus before you got there, and everybody was like, all right, where you at?
Yeah. But you know what's crazy is that because of that, it's a lot of letdown when people see me walk through the door, until they get to know me, because they expect this, like, I don't know what they truly expected, but they not expected to see a little tiny dude like me. Now, I done put on some pounds since back in the day, but I'm walking into people's schools like 160, 170 pounds, 5'9". They like, this little dude, this little guy. Nah, the stories I hear, it can't be about this little guy. Nah. So sometimes it was a letdown, but then after they got to see me in rare form, then they like, oh, now we understand the Napoleon complex is real with this little midget here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, man, like I say, it's just great and amazing because, again, you never get a chance to talk to people and hang out. You hear about them, and then when y'all get together, it's different consequences that get on. But to actually sit down and conversate, man, like I said, I am so in awe of the things that I learned about you recently after college, that I didn't know because, again, in college, now, what made you pledge Phi Beta Sigma? Go ahead and get out the way now.
I can just be me, man. The story is real simple. You know, family members were part of different organizations, and I ended up breaking the chain because I just didn't like the way I saw people's character after they pledged certain things. And that's not to knock anything, and that's not to say that wasn't their true character. It was just hidden by, I just didn't want to belong to anything where I had to adapt to any, you know, one stigma that was placed on you. You know, I was wild and crazy. I wanted to be wild and crazy all the time. I didn't want to just be around brothers acting that way because they pledged something. You know, pretty boy, I never thought of myself as a pretty boy, so I didn't think I fit in there. Just couldn't do alpha, you know. So, you know, I went to a step show and I loved the way that I saw the Sigma step at that step show. So I said, let me do a little background because I wasn't really aware of Phi Beta coming from DC because Omega's pretty much ran the DC area back in those times of growing up. So once I started doing my research, started finding out who some past members were and what some of our members had contributed to society and things like that. And then it wasn't no stigma. It wasn't saying like, if you came over here, you had to be a scholar. You come over here, you got to be a pretty boy. It was like, whatever you are, we're going to accept you as a brother and you ain't got to change nothing about you. And I think that was the selling point because I come in, like when I go places now, like they can never tell what fraternity I truly belong to because some girls be like, oh, you're a pretty boy. You must be a Kappa, all this. Oh, you wild as crazy. Oh, Lord, you got to be Omega, all this type of stuff. Those in the academia world, you know, because I teach school, I write papers and all that type of stuff. I teach other teachers how to teach math. They like, oh, you must be an alpha, things like that. And I'm like, it's funny. No one ever says Sigma because it's no stigma to us. It's no way I'm supposed to act. So when they find that out, they just be like, oh, I get it now. Oh, I understand. Yeah. So that was my main reason for going blue and white. Yeah,
like I said, and again, that's one of mine because the fact that you never could judge or choose and see who here's Sigma. You never saw that. You couldn't tell that until somebody told you. So like I said, we come in all different runs and styles. And now I want to talk about your line in general because you pledged with a cat that I like I said love to this day and will always love. We're talking about Christopher Chapman, Big Fruity. That man, I think I met Fruity before I met you. And y'all might be looking to my how you calling a grown man fruit? That's him. That fruit man, whatever you want, that was him because you felt a certain love whenever he entered the room. We're talking about somebody standing 6 foot, what, 4 or 5?
6'5".
6'5", 300 something pounds in college. And when he liked you, everybody and their mama knew he liked you. When he didn't like you, everybody and their mama knew he didn't like you. But it was a true general thing from Fruit and pledging with him, man. How was that for you? I mean, it was.
So I mean, for pledging reasons, it's a little different.
I'm sorry.
Pledging with giants like I had on my line, that SS Lynch Mob, you know, there were only 4 of us that crossed, and I was the tiniest one, and everybody else was somewhat of a monster figure. So, you know, pledging with these big dudes wasn't always a good thing, you know, because brothers don't like always messing with big dudes, but they love to mess with a little tiny dude. So I think that's probably why some of my behavior was kind of out of control once I went over, because dealing with the Fruit man, dealing with my brother Mike, dealing with Larry being so big, you know, and they was scary big, you know what I'm saying? So it was one of those things like, do I really want to upset this big guy? Because eventually he's gonna go over, you know what I'm saying? So they like, okay, I think I could take this little one. So it wasn't always a blessing. Plus, you know, even though they big, they still got to go through the pledging process. And if they get a little scary sometimes, they'll mess up history. And Fruity being from down south, you know, he had a stuttering problem when he got scared. I was like, yeah, he get nervous. He started stuttering. I'm like, oh no, you gonna get us killed in this place. Maybe speak clearly now. So it had its moments and all that. But once we went over, baby, yeah, we changed the game for us, baby.
Yeah,
Our whole world changed over. Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, man. I mean, again, like I say, it's so crazy because regardless, y'all had a whole new when you heard, like I said, when you heard Signals from Hell, it was a different look because they were like, I bet. For us at Warrensburg, when we heard one of y'all was even like, all right, who here? Fruity here, Tiana, who here? Who are everybody here? I bet. Now let's go ahead and cause some mischief.
Yeah, that's right. We wanted to live up to that motto. We weren't gonna make the motto and just be out there.
Right.
Yeah. So when we came through, they knew it was gonna be on and live, and we probably the only ones that got banned from like 5, 6 different universities throughout the states. Like, now they can't come back. Nah. not that chapter. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, like you say, it's a fact of people from the outside who don't understand the bond that you have. Even if, like I say, for us, we hung out a couple of times when you came through one break, but as far as getting older, just conversating on Marco Polo and then going to Atlanta and coming together, man, there were people that talking about, oh man, y'all been hanging out forever, ain't you? No, I just met them yesterday.
That's the thing. And that's the thing. And we talked about that. You know, I shared that when I got back because being around, there's a lot of bros here. And I'm like, yeah, we just had a nice little reunion where we met brothers from Arkansas. And I started showing them film and pictures. They're like, man, I thought y'all knew these brothers for decades. I'm like, nah, I just met that brother that day. Yeah. But we just fit in so well together that it was just, that's just the way we are, man. We were able to come together and do those type of things.
And like I say, in doing that, I mean, just like I say, as far as the overall, I mean, just the spirit of brothers who, and that's the thing I think is missing in some cases, to where when your spirit is on the same level, they just connect and interlock regardless. It's like, hey, I know I just met you, and on the Marco Polo, we might have had an issue or two, but seeing you face to face, boom, it just was a connection. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing for Black men, especially, to come together. And like I said, we talk about everything when we ain't talking about each other. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing that people don't understand. We need that nowadays, man. It's a bunch of stuff going on, and we were able to help brothers come together, understand that, look, I ain't by myself.
That's right. A lot of your issues, even though you all the way in Arkansas, you all the way up in Indianapolis, you all the way somewhere else, our issues are still the same issues, and we trying to figure out solutions. So that was the great thing about us. Next steps.
Yeah, like I said, okay, and now after graduating and you go back home, you say, mama played a role in getting you into the educational teaching piece.
Right.
And you've been teaching now how long?
This is my 26th year.
Man, okay.
26, yeah. So I started in elementary, did my time in the classroom, went to middle school, did a few years there, and then they pulled me out, and I've been in central office for the last, I want to say 11 years in central office, and I'm specifically in the mathematics department now. So I write the curriculum for kindergarten and first grade math for our entire district, 142 elementary schools.
Boy, write that down too. You the district man now, okay. Hey, so in doing that, how? Cause this threw me. I'm gonna tell you, Undertaker, brother Terrell, he's the one that told me about you. I was talking about doing the video. I said, yeah, I'm doing my show. I'm gonna have Mario on. And I had Dr. Muhammad on. We was talking. I said, yeah, man. I said, yeah, I need to get some more. You know anybody? He's my man. You need to talk. You need to talk to T. I said, talk to T. Yeah, man. You know, he writing them books. I said, he writing books. Come on, yeah. I'm like, wait. Let's get it. We talking about Mr. Mischief from college is the author. Come on, yeah, man. Oh man, he writing them books. And I said, okay. I said, what's the name of the book? He told me the name of the book. I'm like, I'd heard it before. So I called up one of my friends. I said, hey, you ever heard this book? She said, yeah. I said, who wrote it? Cause in my head, I'm listening for Tiano, Terrian. I'm listening for all that. And she says, Jay Trimble. I say, Jay Trimble. I said, hey, T, you told me a T was right. I said, yeah. She said, Jay Trimble. Dude, that's T. That's his. I said, I ain't no T. I ain't buying that. And then we got talking to he said, he asked somebody else, I'm like, yeah, that's T writing, J Trimble. I'm like, wait a minute, he is Mr. Black erotic author. He's like, yeah, I ain't gonna believe it till I see him. I ain't gonna believe it. And then I said, we got there on Thursday. I came in the house and I saw the books. I said, God dang, T is the writer.
I am DJ Trimble, king of erotica. Yes, sir.
So how did you get into that?
Now that was one of those it's a long but short story. My wife gave me a book to read by a different author, and I read a little bit of it, and I was like, I just can't relate to these individuals and stuff like that. And I was like, I could pretty much write a story. This is why most women are crazy, by taking advice by other women and stuff about men and stuff. And so she was like, well, you always talking trash. You should write a book then, since you could do all that, Mr. Man. So we went up to Thanksgiving with relatives, and you know, it was her side of the family. So they were doing a lot of the storytelling. I couldn't relate because, of course, I wasn't in the family then. So I went to the bedroom and just started writing stuff. The next thing I know, I had a bunch of chapters down. And I was like, okay, well, shoot, I can do this. Yeah, I'm going to do this. So I came back, and my 7th grade English teacher in my building had just wrote a book and was had it published and everything. So I was like, look at this and tell me what you think about it. So I gave her my little manuscript thing. She read it. She was like, oh man, this is real nice and all that. So I think she's just saying that because we cool. So I started sending it out to people, and everybody started sending back saying, oh man, this is nice. Oh, I like this, all this type of stuff. They was like, well, if you want to do something with it, you know, we can work on that and get it done. I was like, okay. Then my teacher friend came and said, you know what, I'm gonna start my own publishing company. I'd love for you to be one of my first writers and all that. But I think we should go a different way, because you write more like Jerome Dickey, Michael Basin and all that. She was like, maybe if we add some sex scenes and some, you know, we can go after that Zane population in that erotica era, where there ain't that many men being represented. So I went back to the drawing and started changing up, adding different scenes and all that. And I had titled the book Unmasked Passions because it was supposed to be a romantic book, since I was talking about a relationship from a man's point of view, but then it became Secrets of a Housewife. And the book was so big, like, I mean, it was like over 500 pages when I turned it in, and it was like, nah, you a new author. This is a new publisher. We ain't sending out no 500-page book on your first run. You know what I'm saying? So they cut it in half, like 250, 260, put the words to be continued on. And, you know, we published it. Next thing I know, bruh, got into these bookstores, started doing these book sales and all that. And I shot up in the Essence bestsellers list. And next thing you know, I was an Essence bestseller. We was running run after run, because, you know, we started with like 5,000 copies. And then next thing you know, it was 6,000, 10,000, 15,000. And it was like, okay, these things are flying off the shelf and everybody waiting on part 2. And they ain't even already know I already had part 2 done. You know, so they're just waiting for the year to go past for me to make this run. But that's how I really got into writing, just making a little comment to my wife and her putting a challenge out like, well, you think you can, we're going to do it, Mr. Man. I can't look that bad to the wifey, so I went on and tried it. Yeah.